They will tell you that you need money to feel rich, that you need to wait for the house, the car, the applause, the bank statement. But those who think like that have already lost. Because true wealth doesn't start in the wallet. It begins in the mind. Before Carnegie built steel, before Ford built engines, before Oprah owned studios, they were not owners of anything material. They were owners of an idea, a vision burning so bright it consumed doubt. That vision, that's the real currency. And until you have it, $1 million could slip through your hands and leave you emptier than when you were broke. Because money is not the cause, it's the result. The echo of a mind that refuses mediocrity, a mind that wages war on limitation, a mind that dares to act before the world gives permission. That's how you think like a millionaire, before you ever see a dime. Let me ask you something. How loud is your vision? Not your goals, not your wishes. Your vision. The thing that keeps you awake when the world is quiet. The thing you're too afraid to say out loud because it feels too big. That's the birthplace of all fortunes. You see, the world doesn't reward effort, it rewards belief. And belief isn't some soft candle of hope. It's a roaring flame of conviction. Andrew Carnegie didn't become the richest man of his era by dabbling. He decided that he would dominate steel, decided that he would mentor others to greatness. He passed that spark to Napoleon Hill and through Hill's pen to you. That spark is waiting to be lit. But you've got to want it more than sleep, more than comfort, more than the approval of the people who think small and live even smaller. You've got to be willing to step into the arena of giants, naked and unarmed, with nothing but a dream and a refusal to back down. That's where wealth is born, in the tension between reality and vision, in the silence before the applause, in the failure before the breakthrough. That tension, that's your training ground. So here's the truth no one tells you. You don't need money to start thinking like a millionaire. You need clarity. You need hunger. You need a decision, because clarity cuts through chaos. Clarity doesn't beg for opportunity. It builds it. When you see your future with razor-sharp intensity, when you feel it in your veins like a second heartbeat, the world begins to rearrange itself around your focus. But that focus, it cannot be borrowed. It must be forged in silence, in solitude. In the moments when the world stops clapping and your only applause is the echo of your own footsteps walking forward. That's what separates the dreamers from the builders, the ones who read books from the ones who write them, the ones who watch history from the ones who create it. And if you want to think like a millionaire, then you've got to stop thinking like a victim. Stop blaming the government, the economy, your family, your past. None of it owns you. Only you do. Only your mind does. You are not your bank balance. You are not your surroundings. You are your decisions. And no decision is louder than the one that says, I will rise, no matter what. Look at Walt Disney. Fired for lacking imagination. Looked ridiculous with a mouse as his mascot. But he saw a world before it existed. A world he believed into being. That belief built empires. Or Henry Ford, laughed out of boardrooms for wanting to put cars in every driveway. Foolish, they said. Impossible, they said. But Ford wasn't asking. He was building. Because he knew that fortune doesn't favor the polite, it favors the relentless. And you? What are you building in silence? What empire is waiting on the other side of your excuses? To think like a millionaire before you have a dollar is to refuse the lie that says maybe someday. It is to declare now. Now is the moment. Not when the debt is gone. Not when you feel ready. Not when someone gives you a handout. Now. Because millionaires aren't built in abundance. They are built in lack. Built in garages, in basements, in one-bedroom apartments with nothing but a notebook and a voice that says, I will not quit. But thinking like a millionaire is not just about intensity. It's about precision, about aligning your thoughts with your actions, like a surgeon aligns his blade. If your habits contradict your dreams, then your dreams are hallucinations. You cannot think like a millionaire and act like a spectator. So, audit your actions. Every hour is a deposit or a withdrawal. Every habit either compounds or corrodes. You cannot afford mediocrity in your rituals and expect greatness in your results. Discipline is the dividend of belief. You don't need motivation, you need structure. Millionaire minds are not moved by mood. They are governed by systems. They automate excellence. They prepare before the world wakes up. They grind long after the crowd goes to sleep, because they know something the world forgets. You do not rise to the level of your potential, you fall to the level of your training. Train your mind like a warrior trains for war. Feed it with truth, starve it of distraction, refuse to allow doubt to take root, because the seed you water is the one that grows. And above all, protect your mental environment. You cannot think like a millionaire if you surround yourself with voices that whisper poverty, that normalize mediocrity, that poison your momentum with fear. You need to curate your circle like your life depends on it, because it does. Be ruthless with who gets access to your energy. Millionaire minds are not available to everyone. They are scarce, focused, sacred. You don't owe anyone your time, but you owe your destiny everything. That means replacing gossip with goals, replacing comparison with creation, replacing complaint with clarity. Because the world you want is already yours. It's just waiting for you to become the version of yourself that can handle it. This is where most people break, not because they don't have talent, not because they lack ambition, but because they refuse to become what their dream requires. They chase outcomes instead of evolution. But if you want to think like a millionaire, then evolution is non-negotiable. You must become before you receive. You must stretch beyond comfort. You must die to who you were so you can rise as who you're meant to be. It will hurt, it will cost you, but it will be worth it. Because nothing is more expensive than living a life beneath your potential. And when the world tells you, you need money to think big, you will smile, because you'll know better. You'll know that wealth begins as a whisper inside the mind, a whisper that becomes a roar that reshapes mountains. That roar is you. But here's what they won't teach you in schools. What textbooks and polite conversations avoid thinking like a millionaire is rebellion. It's defiance against average. It is war against the chains of limitation, a silent revolution inside your skull. The world wants you to wait, be reasonable, be practical. Wait until you're older. Wait until you've proven yourself. Wait until someone hands you the pen. But history was never written by the reasonable. It was written by the unreasonable, the unrelenting, the unshakable, the ones who took the pen while their hands were still trembling. To think like a millionaire is to look at an empty stage and hear the applause before the curtain rises, to walk into a silent room and feel the echoes of your own greatness, not because the world gave it to you, but because you decided it was already yours. You don't manifest wealth by chanting mantras and hoping for luck. You do it by aligning your thoughts with bold, decisive action. You do it by treating your ideas like they already have value because they do. You do it by becoming so faithful to your inner world that the outer world has no choice but to submit. But belief without movement is hallucination, and discipline without desire is slavery. You need both. You need fire and framework. You need emotion and execution. And that's the rarest combination of all: someone who dreams wildly but moves precisely. Someone who imagines the stars but plants their feet in the soil. That's the mindset of the million maker, the vision of the world builder. Let's talk about adversity, because there's no millionaire mindset without it. Every fortune worth having was born in a furnace. They want the glory, but not the grit. They want the crown without the crucible. But pressure is not the enemy, it's the sculptor. Thomas Edison failed over 10,000 times before perfecting the light bulb. That's not myth, that's math. 10,000 experiments. 10,000 moments when he could have quit, walked away, blamed circumstance, but he didn't. He had already decided not to hope, but to know. He didn't wait for success to feel like a success. He moved like it had already arrived. He thought like a millionaire, not when he had money, but when he had clarity, when he had obsession, when he had that unshakable refusal to accept defeat as final. How many times have you stopped just before the miracle? How many ideas have you buried because someone rolled their eyes? How many times have you silenced your roar to make others more comfortable? Thinking like a millionaire means doing it anyway, not without fear, but without submission to fear. It means stepping forward when your legs shake. It means betting on yourself when the odds aren't in your favor yet. Because here's the twist. The odds never favor the visionary, not at first, but they bend, slowly, silently, then all at once. The world bends to the ones who don't bend to it. And what bends the world faster than anything? Purpose. Let's talk about that, because purpose is more than a motivational poster or a spiritual phrase. Purpose is oxygen for the soul. Without it, you can have all the money in the world and still suffocate. But with it, you can walk through fire and come out cleaner. Purpose gives meaning to pain. It gives direction to chaos. It turns obstacles into fuel. When you wake up for something bigger than you, something that stirs your gut and makes your heart race, discipline becomes devotion. Focus becomes freedom. Time bends around purpose like gravity bends light. You don't need a detailed business plan right now. You don't need a perfect pitch deck. You need to feel your purpose in your bones. You need to bleed for something bigger than comfort. Because the millionaire mind is not addicted to income. It's addicted to impact. The money is a byproduct. The real prize, becoming the version of yourself you were born to be. That's why a millionaire mindset isn't about having, it's about becoming. Becoming sharp when others dull. Becoming calm when others panic. Becoming valuable when others complain. When others watch the clock, you're crafting legacy. When they chase quick wins, you build depth. When they chase likes, you build life. And let me say this clearly. You do not need a fancy degree, or a powerful last name, or a lucky break to start. The most dangerous myth is that you are unqualified. The truth is, you are called. And the call doesn't wait for credentials. Every empire began as a lone whisper, and the whisper doesn't care where you came from. It only cares what you commit to. So stop apologizing for your ambition. Stop dialing down your dreams so you fit into rooms not built for your fire. Stop shrinking your voice to make space for someone else's comfort. You were not born to be palatable. You were born to be powerful. You were not born to blend in. You were born to break the mold. And if you feel that fire in your chest right now, that pulse of maybe I can, rising into a roar of I must, don't ignore it. That's your call to rise, to think higher, to stand taller, to move sharper, to become the millionaire in mind before you are the millionaire in matter. Because matter follows mind, always has, always will. Don't believe me? Look around. Every skyscraper was a thought first. Every movement, a mindset first. Every revolution, a ripple in one man's belief that became a tidal wave across time. Your thoughts are not small. They are the architects of your reality. And your words are blueprints. Speak wisely. Think boldly. Move as though the outcome is already etched in stone, because if your belief is strong enough, the world has no choice but to catch up. You don't need to wait until the world gives you permission. You are not here to be liked. You are here to lead. And leadership begins with thought, with courage, with internal wealth so massive it eventually materializes into form. So think like the version of you that's already free. Speak like the version of you that already earned it. Walk like the version of you that already won. You don't fake it, you forge it. The fire is not given, it is built. And you were born to build. You were born to build not just monuments of success, but a mind so fortified that no failure could demolish it. A spirit so tuned to greatness that no rejection could mute it. That is the true architecture of the millionaire mindset, not the bank account, but the belief account. And belief grows only when you deposit every ounce of your will into the now. There is no someday. There is only this day. And how you think, speak, and act in this day carves the path to your fortune or to your regret. You are always building something. The only question is, are you building a future or building a prison? If your thoughts are excuses, your life will reflect limitation. If your thoughts are questions, your life will reflect confusion. But if your thoughts are decisions, your life will reflect certainty. Certainty is the oxygen of the millionaire mind. Certainty is not arrogance, it is alignment. It is the full body knowing that what you desire is not just possible, it's inevitable if you refuse to quit. That's why failure is not a signal to stop. It's a signpost that says, you're on the path where the brave walk. If you're failing, you're moving. If you're moving, you're learning. If you're learning, you're winning. The only people who lose are the ones who sit still and justify it. When Napoleon Hill said, "Whatever the mind can conceive and believe it can achieve," he didn't say that because it sounded good. He said it because he saw it, over and over again. In the coal-stained hands of Carnegie, in the electric dreams of Edison, in the assembly lines of Ford, in the steel nerves of every titan who dared to say, "Why not me?" You think the world is hard now? Good. That's your proving ground. That's your invitation to think harder, to decide louder, to move bolder. The economy, the politics, the noise, all of it a distraction, unless you choose to make it fuel. Because the world doesn't need another victim, it needs a voice that says, "I will become what my soul whispers I already am." That whisper, it started when you were young. Maybe you didn't even have words for it yet, but you felt it, the knowing, the instinct, that you were made for something more. You tried to drown it. You tried to silence it. You tried to be normal, fit in, be safe. But the fire never left. That fire is who you really are. It's the millionaire thinking before the millionaire lifestyle. It's the hunger before the harvest. And it is the only thing that cannot be taken from you unless you give it away. So, don't give it away. Not to fear, not to failure, not to the opinions of people who gave up on themselves and want you to do the same. Number, you rise. You rise even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. Because your character is forged in the struggle, and that character will carry you when your energy runs out. Let's talk about character. Because if mindset is the engine, character is the compass. You can have vision, belief, discipline, but without character, your wealth won't last. It will burn up like paper in the wind. Character is keeping promises no one else hears. It's doing the right thing when shortcuts whisper your name. It's building slow when the world screams for speed. Millionaire thinkers know this. If it costs your integrity, it's too expensive. If it costs your peace, it's not profitable. If it costs your soul, it's not success, it's sabotage. You want long-term wealth? Build it on values, not vanity. Build it on grit, not gimmicks. Build it on truth, not trends. Because money may come and go, but who you become in the process, that's forever. That's why you need to fall in love with becoming. Fall in love with the early mornings no one sees. The hours of reading, learning, refining, the discipline that doesn't post itself on social media, the inner work that no one claps for until they do. And even then, you won't need the applause, because you've already applauded yourself by showing up every damn day when no one was watching. That's thinking like a millionaire. Let's be clear, this is not about arrogance, it's about alignment. The humility to know you're still learning, the courage to act like you've already become, the wisdom to know the difference. There's a stillness in powerful minds, a calm in the chaos. You don't chase everything, you don't react to everything, you're not moved by every storm because you are the storm. You're not waiting to be chosen, you chose yourself. Self-selection is the first step to self-creation. So choose yourself, not just when it's easy, especially when it's hard. Choose yourself when doubt screams, when critics laugh, when the mirror reflects back nothing but potential. You are not finished, you are being forged. Forged in rejection, in isolation, in unseen effort. That's where all empires begin, in the invisible, intangible, inconvenient places. But keep showing up, because there will come a day, yes, a real day when the world will look at you and say, "Where did this person come from?" And you'll smile, because you'll remember the nights you cried alone, the mornings you rose when your body begged for sleep, the pages you wrote, the risks you took, the identity you built. You'll remember that you weren't waiting for a dollar to act wealthy. You were already rich in resolve. That's the secret no one wants to admit. Most people never become successful because they can't hold the identity of a winner before the win. But the rare few, they hold it. They become it. And then the world mirrors it back. You get what you are, not what you want. So become it now. Walk like it, speak like it, move like it. Let your posture preach the vision you haven't even seen come to life yet. Let your eyes tell the future like it's already here. Because for the millionaire mind, it is. The vision is already here. You don't have to wait for signs or signals. You don't need approval. The world will never crown you king before you act royal. It will never give you permission until you've proven you no longer need it. You become the person worthy of the life you seek, not after you arrive, but before you take the first step. That's what it means to think like a millionaire before you have a dollar. You see yourself as a builder before the bricks arrive. You carry yourself as a leader before anyone follows. You act in faith while the world still doubts. And you move as if the end is already written in your favor because in the minds of the greats it always is. What separates the uncommon from the forgotten is not just talent, it's the relentless decision to move in the dark, through the storm, into the unknown, with a heart that says, "This is who I am," even if no one claps yet. Let them sleep. Let them doubt. Let them scroll. While they kill time, you give birth to destiny. Because there will come a day, listen to me now, there will come a day when your current struggle becomes someone else's survival guide. A day when your scars become symbols. A day when your former lack becomes your greatest leverage. That day will come, if you keep moving. Every chapter of your life has trained you for this. The betrayals, the breakdowns, the late nights of silence, the moments of wondering if it's even worth it, all of it was shaping something. Not something outside you, something inside you. Because wealth without depth is bankruptcy in disguise. But when your soul is deep, your voice will echo. When your mind is sharp, your steps will carve stone. When your character is rooted, nothing can shake you. And when all those forces converge, belief, discipline, clarity, purpose, and unrelenting becoming, that's when the world will finally catch up to who you already are. The applause, it'll come. But by then you won't be chasing it. You'll be too busy creating legacy. Because you didn't just want money. You didn't just want fame. You wanted to matter. You wanted to move mountains. You wanted to mean something in a world that forgot how to feel. And you will, because you already do. So now I leave you with this. When the world forgets your name, remember it louder. When the bank account is low, let your vision rise high. When no one sees your work, see it with more reverence than ever before. When the voice in your head says you can't, speak back with the voice that's been waiting to lead. You are not here to survive. You are here to command. You are not here to conform. You are here to disrupt. You are not here to wonder what's possible. You are here to prove it. So start today, with nothing in your pocket and everything in your spirit. Think like a millionaire. Before you have a dollar. Before the world claps. Before the light finds you. Because the light is not coming. You are the light. And when you finally rise, when the door opens and the world gasps, they won't ask how you did it. They'll ask how you knew. And you'll smile, because you thought like a millionaire before anyone else believed it was possible. And that changes everything.